And happy Saturday. I'm Kathy Hester. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going early on my unboxing my Sugar Hill CSA because it was delivered early, which is awesome. So I know more of you will be watching this on the replay because I've been going live at 1 and this is 10:15. But you know what this means is A, this gets to get put away earlier, and B, I get to gallivant around today, which I'm super excited about. Let me move some of this stuff out. Obviously, I got this together really hurriedly. And hey, everybody who's watching now. So those of you who aren't familiar, maybe this is your first time, Sugar Hill Produce is a local farmer near me that magically puts this on my doorstep every Saturday. I went ahead and signed up for the whole summer CSA. But you could also just, from them, get 1 week or 2 weeks of porch drops, which is kind of awesome. So I think it's $28. 7 of that is delivery. You could go to one of the farmers markets and pick it up, so you don't have to pay delivery, but I really like it. And the produce has been so fresh. And in fact, I also don't want this just to sit around like it has before, so you get to see just how nice it is when it gets dropped off. Hey, Ashley and Cindy from Canada. I love all my peeps from Canada. You guys are awesome. So I haven't actually been outside yet today, really, but it looks kind of nice. How is it where you are? We have the air conditioning on, so that's also why I don't know. So what happens is they drop it off in this box in this big bag. So the bag we reuse for trash. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna let you see from the top of this. I think this is gonna be, look how pretty that is just right there. So I've been getting a huge thing of greens of varying kinds. Ashley says it looks beautiful out here too in Toronto. That's awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at some of this stuff. This is awesome. Oh, and Cindy says it's raining here. She lives an hour from Drina Burton. Oh, that's awesome. But see, look, this is significant. This is a lot of Swiss chard. So one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash it really good. A lot of times I'll cut the stems off separately because they have to cook longer. So I'll cut those up and put those in a different bag. These I usually chiffonade, which is a fancy way of saying slice really, really thin, and then it looks kind of like ribbons. And so you can cut those in half. Like with these being so large, you might want to cut them in half. We can put them in soups, stews, salads, really anything you want to. If you end up getting too many greens at one time, which kind of seems impossible till it doesn't, you can go ahead and either blanch it. Like these you could blanch really quick, which just means dip them in hot water and then put them in ice water. And then you could put them in a bag and put them in the freezer. So you don't have to lose any of these. You can also pickle these bottom parts too, and they're really pretty. The vinegar will make them lose some of their color. So let's see if I can get another. Here's another where you can see it a little bit more close up. Aren't those just so pretty? I love the red ones, how the leaves are a little bit darker. But anyhow, it's just a really nice, colorful, awesome thing. Let's see. I like that. Ashley says, Chard, Kathy for scale. And as I was informed by someone, I am fun-sized, which means I'm 5'1½". So I think that what is it? It might look different in your mirror. And Cindy says, nice Swiss chard. I know, right? It's gorgeous. It really is. Okay, and hey to everybody else out there. Let's see what else we've got. We usually get about 5 different things. In the market, this can cost anywhere between $3.50 to $4.50 or $5. I've got a nice bunch of cilantro. Like, this is nice. I've been getting some out in, and actually, I guess, I'm pretty sure it's cilantro. Yeah. I was like, let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Sometimes Italian parsley can look like cilantro, but take a taste and you know.
So far, everything's head size.
Oh, is this head size too?
Yeah.
Cheryl says everything's, come say hey. I'm going to make her come say hey to you. That's the Cheryl that you hear about. I don't know why that says add to broadcast. I wonder if there's something that shouldn't be there. No, it looks fine now. Whatever it is, I've made it go away. And I realized I'm not on Do Not Disturb. So let's be on Do Not Disturb. There we go. I just want this between you and me. All right, so this cilantro is probably 2 to 3 bunches of cilantro from the store, and they're between $1 and $2 depending. So I feel like that's a pretty good value too. I knew I was getting this. Head of cabbage, not as big as my head, but as big as my face. So, let's talk about cilantro for a minute. What I'm probably going to do is put this in like a glass of water, like their flowers. They're still not going to last all week. So, if I know I'm not going to make any Indian or Mexican food or something that I want to use for cilantro, though, in the Ninja Creamy, I want to make pineapple cilantro jalapeno sorbet. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know somehow I'm obsessed with this combo. I'm going to make it. It's going to work it or not. So I'm going to be using some of it for that. But let's say I was only going to use this much. I could go ahead and chop this up and put it in an ice cube tray. There's some water with it already, or you could add some water. You'll see that some people talk about adding oil to it. That's up to you if you do oil, but it'll work just fine with water too. Freeze it in ice cube trays, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then you always have cilantro. Because if you're like me, I'm always like, I wish I had some cilantro, or I look at my cilantro and I go, I wish I used that cilantro. And don't forget that the stems have just as much flavor as the leaves. So when you're pureeing it, make sure to puree those stems. And Ashley says that sorbet sounds amazing. Thank you. I needed that little edge on. And also says that she's bad at using up cabbage in time. It's my most forgotten vegetable and I always feel so bad. Well, here's the thing too. I let my cabbage go a long time. Don't forget, you can peel a lot of this off, and sometimes at least the core is still usable. Because there's a reason, like in Slavic cuisine, beets, turnips, rutabagas, any cold weather place, cabbages, they feature prominently because they do last a long time in a root cellar or your fridge. So take note, if they're not doing as well because it's a little bit moldy, then you want to somehow put something in there to dry it out. You could put some paper towels in there. You can see if you can change the airflow a little bit so that they do last a long time. With that said, I have thrown out cabbage because I didn't use it in time. So actually don't feel scolded in any way, because whatever you guys have done, I have done it probably 100,000 times. And Kathy says, I'm always amazed that other parts of the same country I live in have mature veggies when ours are still baby plants. Kathy, remind me where you live again. I don't know why I forgot. I think you're up north though, for sure. And Ashley says, thanks. Oh yeah, I've done it. If there's vegetables to go awry, you know that meme that's like, I wish I was the person I thought I was when I bought all these vegetables. So does Cheryl. Cheryl wishes I was that person too. That's why the thing we love about this fridge, and I'm going to show you probably next week, like with those Ziploc bags, that I've been organizing stuff. So now I have all this just for produce, and that helps a lot. I do have to make some juice to use up some produce that I've been saving in there. So I think it's been a few weeks now that I was going to make celery, carrot, beet juice. So that's going to happen this weekend. And Cindy says, I freeze my herbs that way with water. I juice limes and lemons and freeze that way. Absolutely. And you can also zest them and freeze the zest too. You could dehydrate the zest if you want to, but I think it retains more flavor sometimes when you freeze it. I go back and forth on that one, so I usually just do whatever's most convenient to me. And Cindy Reed says that she has the Breville and loves it. And it's worth the money and I use it every day. Did I miss a different question? Aha, yes I did. Okay. Liz says, I love living vicariously through your CSA boxes. I have an off-topic question every time. Do you have the large or the small Breville Smart Oven Air, and what do you recommend? This is the large one, and next to my short fun size. I mean, it takes up a lot of the counter. I will say that. That's why I have it this way, because it will take up all of this area. And behind here, I have all kinds of stuff hidden. I've got my Breville tea maker, and I've got things that need to be put away and things I don't want you to see. When I got this one, they did not have a smaller version. And when I got this one, it was significantly more expensive than it is now. So they've come down to be more affordable. The only time that I really use all of that, I bought some extra, these are the Dehydrator Racks. And I bought extra ones of these. For a while, they were hard to get. Or the air fryer. I think they're called Dehydrator or air fryer. You use them for both. And the only time I use all the racks is when I'm dehydrating something. When I dehydrated blueberries a couple of weeks ago, I used my cheap Nesco one because the blueberries were fresh and lush and full of juice. And what will happen is that water will stream down here and kind of, you'll think something's on fire, but it's just the steam coming out. However, like to dehydrate the cilantro or maybe some Swiss chard, because another thing I want to dehydrate and do is make some green smoothie powder, because green smoothie powder costs a lot, but you know what? This did not. So I want to dehydrate some different kinds of greens to make our own powder. So I think I would go on what you can afford, then what's the size where you can put it, and will you really use 4 trays of dehydration? And do you really need to put a full, a pizza in there? Those are the ways I would make the decision. I do have a smaller one that I got at Costco that is not exactly like this, but it is a toaster oven, and it's okay, but it was like $79. And I'll probably switch it out again at some point so you guys can see that. Okay, let's see what else I've missed. Okay. Now, and I already read the Cindy, I have the Breville, and I have the Breville and love it, worth the money. I use it every day. And you can do everything in it. You can even slow cook in it in a Dutch oven. So it is really good. Oh, Cindy has the same fridge. Do you have a big problem with your ice maker? Because we've replaced ours twice and we're still having an issue. But I'm going to have a cool countertop ice maker probably next week that I'm going to be demoing and doing a video about. So I'm just going to solve that problem. There's a lot I love about this Whirlpool, but like we have had so many issues. Last year when we got it delivered, it was delivered damaged. They were supposed to replace it over 6 months. 6 times I took all the stuff out of the fridge, waiting for a new fridge, and it didn't come. So then I had to walk over to the Home Depot lady and talk to her. I was not super mean, but I was firm, and I was like, because at first they offered us like a 10% discount for a gash and a break that they had, and I'm like, we did not pay, because this was an expensive fridge. We didn't know 10% is not enough. I want it nice. Now, with that said, if I go to Home Depot, and which we often do, Home Depot and Lowe's, and we look through kind of the scratch and dent for significant discounts, not 10%. That's how we got our downstairs freezer. We have an upright freezer, and that's how we got our dishwasher. We get a lot of things that way, and I don't mind it when I'm not paying full price, right? Or it's not, like if you go to Home Goods and something is broken, like it's like a leg can be broken off a chair and they're giving you 10% off, and I'm like, no. If it was a little scratch, okay. But anyhow, and Kathy is in Ohio. Cheryl is from Ohio. She is from near Toledo, right?
I grew up in St.
St. Mary's. I always forget. They're all the same place to me.
They're about 2.5 hours apart.
And CJ, she loves that fridge. My kitchen is just marginally larger. That's awesome. You need to email me some pictures. If you, I'm obsessed with Scotland. So every time, it's so sad because every time I'm like, I imagine you like in this quaint cottage. You're probably in some like sleek modern to-do, but to me you're in this like with the stone fireplace, and you have some sort of hand knitted afghan over you while you're watching. I'm so sorry. If that's so. Anyhow, I have you like probably in my favorite books that I've read about the UK. And Cindy Reed does some zesting too, and also loves the Breville and has the large Breville as well. And Liz has the Corsi Dehydrator, Cosori Dehydrator, and I'm leaning towards the smaller Breville. I think that makes perfect sense because in general, you're not looking to cook 10 artichokes or, having even 2 of those air fryer levels is significantly more room to cook in than a large air fryer. So I think that probably would work. And Cindy has no problem with her ice maker. I think that they broke something at some point, but they've replaced now the 2 different parts. And Cindy's grandmother is from Ohio. Oh, hi, Ronnie. She says, I love fine chopping cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and carrots in my food processor and using it as a salad base. It lasts a long time. That is what I call cruciferous crunch. Usually I use some broccoli stems. I may or may not use cauliflower, but it's always up for debate or what's in your kitchen. And I haven't put it up yet. I'm putting up a video probably next week on YouTube of making it. I just put everything in my food processor except the cabbage because it's usually too old for me to run it through the shredder. I think if it was brand new picked, probably today I could do that. But that's a great way to do it. I use cruciferous crunch in stir fries, tofu scrambles, salads. I'll just throw a handful in anything. It's awesome. And CJ, it says she's in a flat built in the 1800s, which I bet is still beautiful. No cottage, I know. I've been watching too much Agatha Raisin, and I watched something, I can't remember the name of it. We found another cool thing. We watch far too much Acorn TV, which is like lots of UK shows, and we watched one that is, you guys, if you need some cozy mystery, Agatha Raisin is the best. So I live and die on when Agatha Raisin's season is coming back. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's about a married couple, probably 40s, 50s, who clean up murder scenes and solve murders. And it was the cutest ever. There was a little more blood, but it was still pretty cozy. You're not seeing a lot of horrible, horrible things. That's what cozy means. Cozy means murders without, it's the difference between cozy mysteries and crime dramas is crime dramas usually see the crimes and stuff, and it's a little stressful. Okay. Kathy says, Ohio is my home sweet home. I wish I lived where it was warm all year. Well, that would not be here, but... Yeah, I want to find some place where it's 70 to 75 all year, but that I also get fall and spring. So that doesn't exist. So I live in North Carolina, which is the closest thing. And Cindy says, great idea, Ronnie. Somehow, let's see. There we go. Iona, hi, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Oh, and CJ loves Agatha Raisin. I know, it's awesome. I need to read the books because honestly I got turned on to it from the TV show, but they're so cute. Iona, it was the cleaner. Thank you. So if you're looking for some things that are fun, and sometimes life is just a little too stressful for me personally, and that's when I go for these things, because I think you want something to entertain you. I like a little bit of a puzzle, but I don't need quite all the violence. There's enough going on. And so Kathy says, "Are you early today?" Yes, I am. I was expecting you at 3, but I was going to have to miss you because I'm going to a wedding. See, now I don't have to feel bad. I felt a little bad going early. Like I hadn't actually posted today because I was thinking of possibly skipping it so we could go to a nearby town. And then magically this got delivered early. So I was like, let's do this and then we can go off and gallivant and have some fun. Okay, we got a few more things. We have the obligatory lettuce. That will be a delicious salad. And I know some of you guys are in my group and people were talking about some of the cheeses from Aldi's, and I did have a salad. I had a decadent salad. Look how pretty though. I just love how fresh everything is when we get it. So I did try some of the blue cheese from there, and we had some blue cheese follow your heart dressing, and so I made like this decadent tofu house salad, and it was really quite delicious. I haven't had blue cheese in a very, very long time, but it was very satisfying as a treat. It's not something I'd want to eat every single day, but it was pretty nice. Here we go, so you can kind of see. We've got 2 more things. Ha-ha. Beets. I've got 4 beets. We don't have the beet greens today, and that's okay. A lot of times when you don't get the beet greens, it just means, honestly, and that they weren't so nice. And that's okay. So I've got these 4 big beets. Oops, can you still, there you go. So I have tiny hands. So these are probably medium sized beets. They're not tiny. That one might be small. That would be a medium. And then we have my zucchini cucumber that keeps coming. So a nice big cucumber. I had 2 cucumbers, 2 tiny cucumbers from my vines this week. And then 2 more of these squash. I need to learn the name of them. I just think they're cool because they're 2 colors. And yes, I am that kind of person when it comes to vegetables. If they're cute, they're cute. And I was looking at some seeds, and I did see the other kind that I thought that looked a lot like bitter melon. They are a zucchini, but like an Italian blend that raises these ridges a little bit. These are huge. And I have a zucchini growing on my zucchini plant, and Mia, my basil supplier of past years, was like, how about you do a show and I drop off 10 pounds of zucchini and you just spend an hour or 2 making zucchini recipes. So that could be happening. So is that something you guys are interested in? We can talk about that too. And Iona says, I've seen the trailer talking about the cleaner and I plan to watch it. It was so much fun. At first you're kind of like, you know, like sometimes it takes a little while to get into it. Agatha Raisin, the main character, is just so dynamic. It's just really easy. It took a little bit to get in, but once I was in for good. And yeah, the lettuce is so fresh and crisp. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to, sometimes like today, I'm probably going to do the cheater way. And what I do is I'll just put all of this into a bag and then take it out and clean it later. Or I'll go ahead and clean it and then put the leaves in a container so that they're just ready to use. The more of this that's ready to use, the better. So if I did shred this cabbage, I'm more likely to use it. These beets are probably going in a juice. I'm just collecting these summer squash in my fridge right now for the past few weeks, so I've got to make something with it soon. Usually my favorite go-to, and Dawn and Rob and Finley could possibly come over for dinner, so I might make something like roasted or sauteed diced zucchini tacos. And so I'd put some either chili for the stew powder or like ancho and guajillo powder, cumin powder, onion, garlic powders or regular sauteed, and maybe put a little bit of a tomatillo sauce, have some guacamole. In fact, this lettuce would be good enough. You could even do tacos in a lettuce wrap with some cilantro, and I think that would be pretty good too. So I need to do something with that. So Dawn, if you're watching and you want to come over for dinner, how do you feel about summer squash? And Colleen says, now I wish I got in the Sugar Hill box this week. And you know, they told me yesterday what was going to be in it. Usually they tell you a day before. That one day that I almost double bought Swiss chard was the only day that they hadn't sent something. But I did not go to the market today because it's early, and we're going to go to Lidl or Lidl. I think it's Lidl, Lidl, and I might be getting some more pots because I got some lemon trees that I thought I wouldn't need to replant this year, and I do. And Cheryl likes having these pristine pots, and we got a couple yesterday for like $5. So we're going to go look there, and Cheryl, they also had field roast sausage, firm tofu, something else from field roast. And I'm really, they're not in Durham or Chapel Hill, which is where I usually do my shopping. So we go far east or west to go get our stuff there. But we went by an Aldi too, and I'm just finding the produce and the produce sales are often quite better at Lidl. And they have strawberries that are $1 off, so I think they're like $1.50 for a pound of strawberries, which is pretty awesome. They do have some organic food. The organics are usually not on sale, as you can imagine. And Liz says, yes, can't ever get enough zucchini recipes. Oh, I think you're right, Iona. I think, because now that you said it, it makes sense to me. I think these are called Zephyr squash. And I just think they're the coolest thing. I don't know. When anybody else look at seed catalogs and they're like, ooh, look at that color, or things like that. When I'm looking at beets, when I'm looking at eggplant, you know, even tomatoes, like I love a good pineapple tomato. And just because they're so pretty, they've got those like little splotches of orange, red, and yellow, and they're just so gorgeous. Lidl. So thank you. I love a good write out how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Lidl. And I will get it. And I love that store though. So, and also if you haven't been, and maybe you're just driving somewhere and you see one, they have the cleanest, nicest bathrooms of any grocery store I've ever been in. They have their own bakery. A few things are vegan. Nothing's gluten-free, so I haven't looked through all the things there. So to me, it's a lot like Aldi, and you have to bring your bags. You don't have to put a quarter in to get your shopping cart. There's a difference there. But everything else, lots of private label brands and things like that. And Iona lived for some years in Germany, but I believe we are free to pronounce it as we want. I like that. I kind of live by that, but I do my best to pronounce things as I can correctly. But, you know, I just live in North Carolina, and that's where I am. But anyhow, I'm so glad you guys came and joined me today. Do you have any questions about anything else that we have today? Now, if you want to juice beets, you're going to peel them and cut the ends off. And that's going to be messy. So a couple things you could do. If you have some oil, you can put it on your hands. It makes your hands easier to clean up. I kind of just like it as a badge of honor. A little beet dye makes me feel like I've gotten something done. But that could just be me. If I see anything super awesome at Lidl, I will maybe pop on, but I think it's going to be crowded, but we'll see. So I could pop on later today. You just never know. Next week, I'm going to be doing the plant-based chat with, and I don't know what days any of these things are. And I'm also going to be doing another kitchen toy segment with Julie. This time we're not going to use the Creamy. We're going to use a different appliance, but it's still going to be us, and I'll still be talking about the Creamy. And for you guys, because it's Father's Day weekend, I think, somewhere around in here, the Ninja Creamy is 20% off this weekend, so I gave you the code so that if you want to get one, you can. Also, make sure to check out, yesterday I posted the Better Than Disney's Dole Whip recipe, which is ridiculously easy. You may have seen it when I did the kitchen toy show, but it's just like canned pineapple or fresh pineapple. And if you need to, you can put a little bit of non-dairy milk in there. And at Lidl, you can get, and Aldi's and Walmart and all the places, you can get crushed pineapple and juice. That's all you need. That's all you need. So you're going to love it. Liz says, enjoy your weekend, everybody. And I agree. Have an amazing weekend. Enjoy yourself and cook something really yummy and then tell me about it. Okay? I'll see you